So the Lakers had a very interesting offseason. Not only they struck out on key notable free agents in Klay Thompson and DeMar DeRozan, they also hired a first-time coach in JJ Redick, signed LeBron James' son, and pretty much have signaled to the Laker fan base they're on the business side of basketball, not necessarily on the winning side. And once LeBron James moves on to greener pastures, they will have to address of how they're going to maintain their winning standard as a legacy team like the New York Yankees and Manchester United, as well as the Boston Celtics. Because ever since the offseason of 2014, when they struck out on the LaMarcus Aldridge deal, they've been striking out on notable free agents ever since. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George originally wanted to go there, and now even offering Klay Thompson double the amount that he would make in Dallas, he still skipped over the Lakers. So the other players throughout the league have noticed that the Lakers have entered into the business of LeBron James. And JJ Redick right here will insinuate that he never spoke to LeBron James about his hiring in LA. And being in the era of a lot of current and former players having their own media outlets, Shaquille O'Neal will provide receipts that when you are the big dog with the Lakers, everything goes through you. But first, let's check out what JJ Redick had to say.
That you have a very close relationship with LeBron. He could have done a podcast with anybody in the world. He chose to do it with you. What was his advice to you throughout this whole coaching search process?
He didn't provide any advice. LeBron and I did not talk about the Lakers job until Thursday afternoon, about 30 minutes after I was offered the job. And that was very intentional on both our parts. I knew I had an understanding that he did not want to be involved in this. And for me, I didn't want to go down the path of hypotheticals with someone that I consider a friend and someone that I have a great amount of respect for. So for us, it just came down to literally Thursday afternoon. And I talked to him for about 15, 20 minutes and got off the phone. That was it.
Now, all-time Laker Shaquille O'Neal, 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time NBA champion, and a regular season MVP with the Lakers, gave direct insight of how much control the head honcho gets when he's the captain of the Lakers.
You knew?
Oh, yeah, I knew the whole time. And first, let me say this, because I wasn't aware until late. But it makes it look crazy that a guy with no experience can overshadow a guy like Sam Cassell, who's been in the league 15 years, this and that. So just let me say that. No disrespect to JJ, but I think Sam should also be able to get the same looks. But I'm happy for JJ. A lot of pressure. Winning games will not be good enough. Expectation when you take that job, when you take the Miami Heat job, when you take a job where there's a lot of talent, the expectation is to win championships.
That's a Laker expectation. That's the difference. That is a Laker expectation. A Laker, a Yankees, to a degree the Boston Celtics, even though they have more championships, it's not really as much of an expectation as the Yankees, Manchester United, and the Lakers. Their previous owners have set a standard that a season without a championship is a waste. That's the difference. That's what it means to be a Laker. And throughout this whole LeBron James experience with the Lakers, that standard has been forgotten.
What kind of coach is he? Don't know. I saw something funny on Instagram that said he was a assistant coach for a Brooklyn 4th grade girls team. That's his only coaching experience.
Yeah.
But
he coaches his son, I think.
For me as a player, if I didn't respect the coach, it was easy for me to turn my 100% down. Let me explain. I'm going to give you 100 anyway. But if it's a situation where I know we're not going to go, hundreds is hard to maintain. You know what I mean? That's why when I played for a guy like a Phil Jackson, I already knew his resume. So I knew, because I've sat there and watched him go to the finals 6 times with Michael and win 6 times. So if he says, stop doing this and do something else, I'm going to do it every time because he knows what he's talking about. That's why when I went to Miami, you play for a guy like Pat Riley. He says, do something, you do it, and it wins because I understand their resume. For a guy like me who got all the blame when things didn't go right, if you didn't have that championship experience and I can question you, it was always hard for me to believe in you.
In that press conference, JJ said that he did not talk to LeBron about the job. Do you believe him?
Yeah, I'm starting a website called yeahright.com. Everything goes through LeBron at the Lakers.
They were doing a podcast together.
Exactly. Everything goes through LeBron, and I know that for a fact because when you're in that position as leadership, you get to know everything. So I was in that seat for a long time. Nothing went without my permission. The only time something went down without my permission is when they cut my head and traded me. And then Kobe took over, and nothing went down without his permission. So I know everything that goes on is definitely discussed with LeBron and Rich and those guys. So, it's professional of him to say that we didn't talk about it, but yeah, okay.
So there you go, from a legendary Laker who has done more for that franchise than LeBron James ever has. That's 3 straight championships, 3 straight finals MVP, and a regular season MVP. And even with all those standards, because the Lakers has so many legendary players, Shaq doesn't really get talked about enough about being an all-time Laker. That shows you the standards of that franchise. They got Magic Johnson, Kareem, Worthy, Kobe. Just like the Yankees, they have so many legendary players that people can at least make a valid argument of why 7 to 10 other guys are more valid than, let's say, a current player of today. There's very few franchises that have had all-time Hall of Famers like that, and the Lakers are one of them. So there is a standard with the Lakers that we sort of forgotten once LeBron got over there. But speaking of all-time Laker Hall of Famers, James Worthy accidentally still had his mic on when he thought he was off air during a radio show. This is what he had to say about the Lakers organization, them hiring JJ Redick, and also getting Bronny James.
Then they got the right coaches in there, and so they did it right. They took their time. They waited while we were trading Ingram, Randall.
Yeah, totally.
We fucking trading everything. A Pope gone.
Firing everybody.
The brother up in Sacramento, Malik.
Yep, everybody gone.
We were trading and then we wasn't getting anything for it. Westbrook gone.
Everybody.
So that the ink will.
Luke gone. Frank gone.
The ink will lead back to the problem, which is in that infrastructure.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, I got you.
3rd and 5 years.
No.
If you want to go before that,
No,
you could go 4 and 8 because Luke was 3 years, right? Yeah.
It's all happening.
3 and 5 sounds crazier
It's
to me.
all happening when Phil came here.
4 and 8's a lot.
Excited. With Phil.
Perez, we did the math. 3rd coaching hire show in 5 years.
What's up, B? How you doing?
And then 4 and 8 if you count Luke.
Good to be
Because that was
back,
3 years
man.
before that.
All week. Well,
16 was Luke.
and Thursday. Back to back.
It's too much.
Yeah, man, they don't need me for that.
Do you want me this close to Geet?
Who we gonna be waiting for in the second day?
Dude, just wait till you to talk about it that night. We're going to be dying, dude. It's going to hurt us.
Well, he's the greatest young player ever right now. That Bronny, that's what I'm gonna say.
Now, worthy mentioning that things started going different once Phil got there. I believe he's referring to when Phil arrived in more of an advisory role. That's when Jeannie fully took over. I believe her father just passed away, or he was becoming more sickly. Matter of fact, her father did pass away. That's when one of his wishes was to have his son kind of be the GM of the Lakers for about a year, and if it didn't work out, Jeannie could make a decision to move on. But the franchise was in flux. There was that period before Kobe had left in the last 2 years. They were in between one hell of a transition. And it wouldn't shock me if eventually Jeannie sells that team. But when it comes to LeBron James' long history, that resume has nothing but first year or just early into their career head coaches on that list. The one and dones. LeBron for most of his career has been a coach killer. Remember, Eric Spoelstra would have been fired had LeBron had his way in Miami. But Pat let him know that he was not the boss over there. The JJ Redick is looking like the right fit for what LeBron likes to have, a coach that doesn't necessarily have more power than him, or just doesn't have the gravitas to actually dictate things. But it is what it is. Eventually, the Lakers are going to have to make decisions on the basketball side of things, once LeBron retires, they can't run away from the fact that they got their fan base accustomed to competing year in, year out for championships. And that is the standard.